I was in Bethlehem, which was really quite weird.
What, 2 months ago?
What's that noise?
It's probably someone's mobile going off.
I was there for Christmas, so I was in Bethlehem for Christmas, which was really amazing. And we went to like the Church of Nativity on midnight on Christmas Eve, you know, and like there's the manger, and it was unbelievable. It was full of like pilgrims from Peru.
Really?
Who travelled all this way to Bethlehem. And the thing is with Bethlehem, it used to have a huge tourist industry, which since the Second Intifada, which ended only last year, their tourist industry's been completely decimated. It's very sad. So their economy is in dire straits, and all the hotels are empty and having to close, and all the people who made their living out of, you know, selling little wooden crosses that they carved, they've had to find other work. And you know, the children who used to act as tour guides in the streets, you know, now have to go to schools which have been bombed out. So it's very, yeah, it was very sad. And now they've built this security wall. It's because Bethlehem's only like 9 kilometers from Jerusalem, and the security wall, which is this, you know what that is, the 8-foot high fence that they're building to separate Israel from the West Bank and from Gaza. It goes right through Bethlehem, and it means that you just, like, I would go for walks at night just to kind of, you know, when you move to a new city and you're like, I need to get my bearings and I just need to kind of walk around it. So I go really late at night, and I would walk down the equivalent of like Oxford Street, and it would be completely empty. Like there's not a single car. The whole place closes down at like 7 o'clock at night. You don't see a soul on the road. There's no music coming from houses. There's no lights on. There's no kids dancing. There's nothing. So in that way it was very depressing. So I just kind of went walking, and then you'd walk, and then you'd hit the wall.
Oh my goodness.
And then you'd kind of turn around, and then you'd carry on walking in another direction, and you'd hit the wall again, and you're just like, I am in an enormous prison, basically. But I could leave, you know, I'm very lucky I had a British passport, so to leave you go through these checkpoints, and it's almost like, I mean, people said they were, I didn't think they were as horrific as other people find them, but that's because I'm British, but you go through a pen, it's like a cattle pen, and for Palestinians it's a lot more difficult, and they can't leave. And they can't use their car to drive out of the city and go and buy fruit and vegetables in Jerusalem like they used to. You know, it's just not possible. So there are people now who've never left. You know, who used to go to the sea every weekend and now just can't take their children to go swimming. And that's what I find quite sad with it. I was working for this news agency, which was really interesting, which is part NGO set up by the Dutch and Danish governments, and it's because up until now all the news has been controlled by the Palestinian authorities. It's been very heavily censored. So this is a supposedly independent one, but again, you know, the threats that you receive mean that self-censorship is a big problem. And that was Bethlehem. That was Christmas.
Oh my goodness. So how are the people there sustaining themselves?
It's a good question. They're getting by. They're not starving. Palestinians are amazing agriculturists. They'll never like starve to death. But you know, they've had to make kind of allowances and cuts. You know, if they weren't working in the tourist industry, then actually the economy is getting back on its feet. But if your livelihood was focused around the tourists who came to visit the holy sites, then you are a little bit, you know, stuffed basically. They rely a huge amount on foreign aid, like any kind of struggling economy in the developing world. But I mean, that's not to say that there aren't, you know, everyone has a car or everyone takes a taxi. You know, it's not, you don't see beggars on the street. You don't see that level of poverty at all. It's just, it's like it's almost like depression.
Wow. Rather
than like abject poverty. But having said that, you know, people are incredibly generous and super friendly, and you know, like they are anyway. So. that's a good question. Unfortunately, because it used to be, because Bethlehem's like the one, because it's such an auspicious Christian site, it's like where the majority of Christians are, but they are leaving now because they're slightly wealthier than the Muslim population, just they always have been, and so they have the ability to leave, and so they are, and which is very sad, which means like the sites won't be so well taken care of, and it's like the origin of Christianity, and it's losing it. So yeah, that's quite sad.
Oh my goodness, I wish I could see it.
So annoying. I got all my photos deleted.
Really?
I was so depressed. Yeah, I was going down to the Sinai in the desert, and I pressed format disk on my digital camera and wiped them all. I couldn't believe it. I just sat there going, oh my god, what have I done?
Damn.
No, I was with like a friend out there. Actually took loads for me as well, so we took photos together. I have a few that I put on a little website as well. I'll give you the address. But that's enough about me. Can we talk about you?